a couple days ago, I was looking through my photos, and I went back to 2020, and I took a picture of Fox News whenever oil got to negative on the futures, and I remember where I was sitting, what I was doing, and I looked at my wife and I was like, I don't know what this means. Like, we've never seen this. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I still have that picture just because I was like, that is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just it
was a scary moment.
It never had ever existed in the U.S. history ever. Yeah. And I don't even know if it's ever existed anywhere else in the world.
I don't know, but when he hit negative, I was going, guys, we got a problem.
I would say the biggest win, in my opinion, for us wasn't ever monetary. The biggest win for us was probably this year, or at least the end of last year. I can't count how many times I've heard a consumer go, y'all are higher, your price is higher than anybody else. And he goes, I'm choosing you because of who you are.
Absolutely.
And I think there's no amount of monetary value that you could ever put towards what we have built through our name and through our actions, because you can say the world, but unless you go and follow through with actions, it doesn't mean anything.
Well, right. And it scares me, Harrison, saying that kind of stuff, because it's like we got a long ways to go.
Sure.
There's still roadblocks that happen, and you hope that you stay consistent through the process, and some products are the most expensive, but some products aren't, right? So there's give and take there.
But what was y'all's first, and I'm going to equate it to a property, right? What was the first property that you're like, we got this? Not the first property, the first transaction or whatever. It doesn't have to,
I wouldn't say that
I want to hear what yours, because I have a few in mind that
I wouldn't say it was transactional for me. It was when we were making transactions, and I was confident that we had solutions for when things went awry. And that's just having confidence in our team and confidence in the people that we've put in place and the education that we had to purchase through bad mistakes.
Yep.
I would say for me, that was the biggest thing. Through a transaction, my greatest transaction that I enjoyed the most, that I felt like, oh my gosh, we just climbed Mount Everest, was was it 22 when we sold that scraper tractor?
Yeah, that was cool.
It's a very niche machine. It's very uncommon for our brand to have it west of.
It's the biggest product New Holland makes too. It's a 700 horsepower scraper tractor. So it was exciting because for forever, the name is Big Country, right? So that was the goal when it was started. It was like, we're going to rent out large equipment for oil field construction and civil construction. And so when we picked up New Holland, we still rented out that bigger stuff, but kind of condensed it down. But a lot of New Holland's portfolio was like smaller stuff. And it's like, we're Big Country selling little and so we were mid country.
Media.
Yeah. And so when Harrison sold that scraper package, I felt real confident. But there's like a handful of sales for me over the course of the years that kind of made me feel pretty confident. And selling guys that into a brand that they already had, like that's New Holland. They have a New Holland, they want another New Holland. Mm-hmm. That's cool. Those are recurring customers. That means you're doing a good job keeping them liking the brand, right? The customers that ran a different brand, like a Cat or a Deere or something, and you get them out of that brand, those were like little wins that just added up over time. It made you really confident in what you were doing. And that's on the sales aspect. But we do service and we do parts and we do hauling. And when there, like Harrison said earlier, when there's a problem that occurs, how fast and how assertive we were to taking care of the problem. And that is all about how good our employees are. And so some of my wins were when we got a really good parts person. When we got a really good service manager, when we got a really good store manager, when we had a really kick-ass technician that you could put a lot of confidence in. Because out of all the machines that we sell, I don't know a fraction of everything about them.
Right.
Neither does Harrison. I mean, we might know a lot. I can tell you a lot about a skid steer. I can tell you a lot about a row crop tractor, right? Because those are some experiences that we had early on with service. But out of everything else they make, you depend heavily on your brand and your employees. And so when I could go to sleep at night and go, oh, man, Scott, he's going to have this taken care of, or Daniel is going to like knock that job out in 4 hours tomorrow, right? That was like some of the biggest wins. And it feels like it took 3 to 4 years to just have that confidence in your service department. Because, I mean, selling things is one thing. Taking care of your customer after the sale is the hardest.
Probably the most unique towards the service department, the most unique instance that has lately happened was there was a company in Louisiana that went to New Mexico, like Carlsbad or somewhere out there where God's mainland just got forgot. and so, that's still, 4 hours from here? Mm-hmm. And so we get a phone call. The service technician goes out. His name's Joe. Takes one of our, big service trucks. He is specialized in, he was a cat mechanic before. He's sterilized age. He's really sharp. We got him a new truck. I mean, it's nicest truck in town. And so he goes out to this project, and he comes back and he goes, "You really need to call these guys." And so I said, all right. So we called them, and they said, "Hey, we just want to say how much we appreciate it, because we've had 3 other companies out here trying to fix this tractor. Your technician came out. He took him 15 minutes. He fixed the tractor, and we've been up and going. We've been waiting almost 2.5 months."
Yeah, so
Did he change the oil or what?
No, he read a schematic. He plugged into it, read a schematic, fixed the sensor. And, that's the thing. These newer tractors nowadays,
Yeah.
I mean, you're half electrician over mechanic. And so just being able, reading comprehension, and that's a big issue that we've seen while hiring technicians, is the reading comprehension of younger individuals coming in is so low that I go, okay, you need to be able to read, and you need to be able to write, and you need to understand what you're reading. And if you can't do that, then you've missed the bar entirely, because everything's on a computer. There's no, it's
there's no TikTok video.
Yeah, you got to be able to digest and diagnose, and then
regurgitate
it. Yeah.
I mean, that's in any industry, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's when we talk about education.
Not
the
McDonald's
way of the
flipping
world,
burgers.
And there's a lot of people with a lot of natural skill, in my opinion, for turning wrenches, right?
Sure.
I am not one of those people, kind of like you were saying, like you naturally were good at real estate.
Yep.
I don't really know what I'm naturally good at, Sterling, yet, but
we're getting there.
Excel spreadsheets is pretty damn good.
I like spreadsheets.
Now you're speaking my language.
So, I mean, yeah, the people, in my opinion, and that's like our hardest process. We have manufacturers asking us to build new locations, Abilene, Lubbock, Midland, and our biggest barrier to entry is real estate and people.
Yep.
That's the 2 hardest ones. If I'm there, I know I can sell it. I know I can manage it. I know I can recruit, right?
Sure.
But there's a fiscal part of it that speeds that process up. Harrison and I can go move there. We feel pretty confident in our team in San Angelo, right? We can go move to Abilene part-time and build the people up. And we could, build it up a little bit as far as, acquiring land or building a shop goes. And it might take another 5 or 6 years. But money solves a lot of problems.
Yep.
And our focus has been for like the last 7 years, let's master what we have in front of us and increase profitability without screwing customers, right?
Absolutely.
People hear increased profitability and I think their ears bleed a little bit. But it's business. You got to figure out how to be as profitable as you can by being as best as you can, and then you figure out how to scale.
Right.
Because if you're trying to scale and you're not the best you could be, that's why we're trying to build, a new store in San Angelo, is so we can figure out how to be the best we are here.
Sure.
Before we add on,
Yeah, I mean, it's quality over quantity.
If you were going to take an entrepreneur and go, okay, I'm going to teach you real estate, not I got to teach you all the laws of real estate. I assume that when you take on a client, you're saying, I'm going to hold your hand and we're going to do this together where you aren't going to get burned.
Yes.
Right. If you were going to do that for an individual, for entrepreneurship, commercial real estate, what would your top 3 things be?
So actually, I'm going to call him a kid, but he's not a kid. But a guy walked up to me and said, hey, I'm getting into the ranch real estate business. If you had to give me one piece of advice, what would it be? And I said, you need to take as much education as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. You need to go take those classes. Don't take your bare minimum. Anybody can get a real estate license. Right. I wish there were more barriers to entry to our industry, but it is what it is. And I'm telling them this, and I'm saying, there's a bunch of different classes that you can take to understand the different facets of this industry. Mm-hmm. He goes, man, I've asked a lot of people that question, and not one person has told me education. And I think that is just a shame. Right. It's all about the money. And it's like, no. You're talking about, do you want a 3-year career, or do you want to do this? And if you want to do this, you need to lay the foundation, get your education squared away, and then it will grow. Your business will grow naturally because you know what you are talking about. Mm-hmm. And then when you hold that client's hand and go through the transaction and you master it and you get good at your craft, that person will tell their friends, and those friends will tell other friends, and it is a natural referral business. Mm-hmm. And it's the same with equipment sales. It's the same with any type of sales. You have to get good at one thing, like you said, and then build on that.